In this presentation, I'm going to provide some tips for writing a good blog post. If you Google how to write a good blog post, you'll get lots of advice. These are some of the tips that I think are most important. If you want more ideas, check out the many posts in the Google search. Note that most advice is about writing a good blog post is related to marketing, and in many ways, your e-portfolio is intended as a way to market you. The first tip is to know your audience. Who are you writing for? A professional blog is typically written for others within the same profession. Someone who is your colleague today may be your boss tomorrow. Also, be aware that your audience is bigger than you think. You may be writing to a small group of people, but because you're on the internet, that audience can grow. Make sure you include enough context so that the larger audience understands your post. Share useful information. What is something that you know that might help your colleagues? Go back to last week when we talked about generosity. What is something that you do and how can you show that you know that topic? Try to show rather than tell. For example, I'll often post YouTube screencasts on how to do things in Microsoft Word and then blog about it, embedding my YouTube video. This way I'm talking about it, sharing it, but also showing it. Remember that networking is an act of generosity, and your blog post is in part about sharing something that other people might want to learn. Create a meaningful title. You want your title to be as concise as possible, but also have enough information in it that the reader knows what to expect. Make sure your title matches the content of your post. Find a feature image. In today's blog posts, it's necessary to include a feature image. When you share your post on social media, that image is part of what draws the reader to your post. Your feature image should be in some way related to your post. Ensure you've got permission to use the image. If you're searching for images on the web, ensure that the image allows for commercial use. Also, it's a good practice to credit the creator or source of the image, even if it's public domain. One place to find nice images is unsplash.com. Another is Flickr. Just make sure you search for CC Creative Commons open license or CC BY with attribution licenses. I often start with Google image search, restricting to tools usage rights labeled for reuse. When I find something I like, I then go to the original page and validate that the image is available for reuse, as Google doesn't always get it right. Another option is to create something yourself. I've been known to use word clouds as my feature image, or if there's a diagram in my post, I'll use that as my feature image. State the problem in your first paragraph. Your first paragraph is often used as an excerpt for your blog post, unless the theme that you're using allows you to specify an alternative excerpt. In many cases, readers will read the first paragraph, and if it isn't engaging, they stop reading and move on to something else. So you want to use this paragraph to draw people in. One trick is to pose a question in the first paragraph that you answer in the rest of the post. End with a question or a call to action. If you want engagement, that is comments on your post, one way to help encourage people to leave comments is to end your post with a question. That makes it easier for someone to jump in and answer your question. For example, in my post, what I learned about online teamwork, I end the post with a question: what do you want to do, or what do you do to help your online students work as a team? What strategies have worked for you? So I'm directly asking the reader to reply to my post. Be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Part of the reason a blog adds value to your ePortfolio is that it helps the reader get to know who you are and the types of things that you can contribute. People read your blog to learn, but also to get to know who you are. They want to hear what you have to say. Don't struggle. When you first start, you need to experiment a bit to find your voice. It can take a while with regular practice before you figure out your style. Try not to struggle too much with it. If it feels unnatural for you, then it's likely not your style. The only way to figure out your style is to practice. After writing a few different posts, you'll figure out what style you like. Also, reading different blogs will help you figure out what you like and you don't like. When Scott, my husband, and I started writing for Going East, our travel blog, it took a while to figure out how to write as us. Learning to refer to yourself in third person, but using we when it was both of us. Things like that take a while to figure out. And once you do, writing becomes a whole lot easier.